Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And the topic of this 10-minute moan is the Glasgow grooming gangs that were kept secret from the Glasgow public and wider public, and still questions remain: were they actually charged and convicted? What happened to them? Now, I've been meaning to do this video for a while. The story has always been there. There's always been rumours and myths, potential myths, about south side of Glasgow having these grooming gangs. And the two areas, or the areas that were suggested these gangs roamed, were the constituencies, and was stretched over the constituencies served by Humza Yousaf, and the other one, the neighbouring one, Nicola Sturgeon. So rumours had been rife for years, particularly the Govan Hill, Pollokshaws area of these grooming gangs. And anybody speaking out about them, usual, you're Islamophobic, you're racist, you're far right, you're all this nonsense. However, before I was done podcasting, the Scottish Sun came out with an article which sort of blew it wide open back in January 2020. Some 5 years ago. Their headline was "Vile Gang, Police Scotland took down large-scale asylum seeker grooming gang in Glasgow, but kept it a secret." And one of the most worrying things about this story is a police officer that was asked why it was kept secret said, "We always carefully consider what information to release to protect vulnerable victims and the integrity of inquiry." Now that's strange, because more recently, over the last 12 months, there's been quite a well-known and well-reported case where there was a group of men and women, white Scottish people, who were sort of junkies, and they were passing kids about doing horrific things. I mean, crazy things like they put a kid in a microwave and stuff. I mean, just total horrific abuse of children. Now, that story was covered in all the papers when they were arrested and tried and sentenced. Photographs, names of the people involved. Nobody at that point said, "We always carefully consider what information to release to protect vulnerable victims and the integrity of the inquiry on that case." The only difference I can see is the colour of the skin and the nationality of the ones who committed the crimes. Now, the extent of these gangs, it's quite harrowing, it's quite horrific. Cops took down a huge asylum seeker gang in Glasgow but kept it a secret. The gang preyed on vulnerable young girls in the city and had at least 44 victims, including one core group of 6 youngsters who were all known to each other. It's believed one may have been abused by 28 men and another abused by 23. There was 55 suspected members of the vile group were identified by officers, with 46 positively identified. They were all asylum seekers from Kurdish, Afghani, Egyptian, Moroccan, Turkish, Pakistani and Iraqi communities. All asylum seekers. Operation Creator was kept under wraps by Police Scotland and has now come to light after investigation by the Daily Express. Cops say 19 members were reported to the Crown Office and Procurator Fiscal, but it's unknown how many were convicted. Briefings from the 2016 operation are stored in the archives of Glasgow's Child Protection Committee. Now, 2016, the Justice Minister was the now infamous Michael Matheson, and then in 2018, the Justice Minister became Humza Yousaf. Now, I'm not going to suggest or guess how much they knew or what part they played in any of this. I just think it's interesting that the Justice Minister, when it started, seems quite heavily protected in the Scottish Parliament now. You can even rob him £11,000 and know is his job. And the second one is equally infamous, Humza Yousaf. So anyway, briefings are kept in the Child Protection Committee. The horrifying extent of the gang's activities was laid bare in the National Child Abuse Investigation Unit report by Detective Inspector Sarah Taylor. 22 of the suspects were still living in Glasgow at the time suspects, with a further 8 still thought to be in the UK. That's 30. 14 had been deported, with another awaiting deportation and 1 in prison. Under the heading Victims, the report stated gr01 had 28 suspects, gr02 23, gr03 9, gr04 8, gr05 4 and gr06 1 suspect. All were known to one another, and 20 other named girls were believed to be victims. A further 18 girls were identified through the course of the current investigation. So we're looking at potentially between 20 and 40 victims. Cops said they used disruption tactics, including intelligence gathering, covert policing, financial, lifestyle profiling, looking at suspects' associates, vehicles and employment. The ITailor said the officers had used all investigative opportunities to pursue all known offenders, including involvement in current criminality. They also had support from Glasgow City Council, the UK Border Agency, Barnardo's, HMRC and Scottish SEPA, for some reason I don't know, Scottish Environment Protection Agency. Asked why Operation Gr00ming was not made public, the police source said, "We need to be very clear that we always carefully consider when and what information to release in relation to ongoing investigations to protect the vulnerable victims and integrity of the inquiry." Well, that is, unless the perpetrators are white. Detective Chief Inspector Laura Cornahan, National Child Abuse Investigation Unit, said, "We are committed to investigating all reports of child abuse, which include child sexual exploitation. We want to reassure anyone who has suffered abuse that we will listen. Our investigations are always victim focused and led. Our national child blah blah blah. Nothing really." And then we just get again, we all always carefully consider what information to release to protect vulnerable individuals and the integrity of the inquiry. So shocking. And then there was another story. Get to the one about the story of the 22nd of May in Evening Times. Rumours about abuse cover-ups in Govan Hill are never far away. The person at the end of that suggests that they know that they're not just rumours. Saying, how would I be silly to suggest that there are no such crimes in Govan Hill, is how they put it. Another story from January 23, popular Glasgow McDonald's targeted by Afghan men looking to exploit children, an ex-cop claims. This is obviously a separate inquiry, and it tells you in this story the Operation Gr00ming was the one for the first gang. He tells us about an Operation Dash and an Operation Cotswold. So that's now 3 big police operations about foreign grooming gangs and abuse of children in Glasgow. No Doncaster, no anywhere in the Midlands or anywhere near Manchester where all these grooming gang stories are starting to come. It would appear that wherever these people are, grooming gangs are never far away. So the next time you see about these grooming gangs in Manchester, etc., and you think, oh, that's terrible, but at least it's not a Scottish problem. Well, it is. And I need to say that the evidence in front of me would suggest we're just better covering it up for whatever reasons. You can read into that whatever you wish. But all I'll say is the constituencies affected by the majority of these things are the constituencies represented by Humza Yousaf and Nicola Sturgeon. Does that have anything to do with the silence? Make your own mind up. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please hit the subscribe and the notification bell. Your comments below, please. I always enjoy reading them. Most importantly of all, as long as you're not someone who abuses children, as long as you're not someone who covers up the abuse of children, and as long as you're not someone who protects the abuse of children. Not you, but
everyone else. Have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.